And the agent that I was talking to earlier, she reaches out to me. She's like, "Hey, Homoto, are you looking for a job?" I said, "Me? Looking for a job? I'm not looking for a job." She said, "Ma'am,
Yes,
you should be looking for a job." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she says, "Okay, this is your school has been bankrupt due to COVID." And
That is crazy.
she sends me, I don't know if it was an article or a screenshot of like an online conversation.
Oh my God.
And that's how I found out that there were police officers outside of our training school at the time trying to calm parents down, because parents had just paid, it was after Chinese New Year, they'd paid for a new subscription for the new period and then were bankrupt. And she said, "I think you need to find a job." I actually think I did 100 interviews.
100? Like
Close enough.
literally?
Yes. I did
Why?
interviews for 2 weeks and I think I was taking 10 a day.
Oh my God.
Until I decided which school I wanted to go to.
Well, at that time, we had options.
We had an option.
At that time,
It would be like 7 p.m. and I'm like, let me rest. And then a recruiter texts you, "Can you do an interview now?"
yeah.
And I'm like, "And now?" Nah. So I'm outside. I'm thinking, "Oh," they said, "Nah." I said, okay,
Oh
fine. I'll take
my
it."
God.
So I think I did close to 100 interviews. Like there came a point where I was looking at the sheet with the schools that I was interviewing with. I was like, oh my word.
Oh my God.
And then I finally made my pick.
That is actually crazy, girl. I've never heard anything like this.
I did so many.
That is crazy.
I did.
Gosh. One thing that has been happening, we've been changing jobs. Like schools are shutting down. It's really bad. Like the recruitment, finding a job, especially as chocolate people. Oh yeah. No, honestly, Africans, if you're African, it's really difficult right now. We're not gonna try sugarcoat it or whatever. It's really bad for us. So if you would advise someone who is looking for a job, basically, and you say, what are the things that you'd say, I chose to go for this and that because this is what has kept me in the same space for a long time? Welcome back to All Things Relationships Abroad. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are back with another experience in China. Today, we are going to talk about COVID because our guest came right before COVID hit. Guys, we know how bad the days were and we want to know her experience. I mean, coming home, safe, all good, and then you get to a new country, a new continent, new culture, new job, and the next thing, everything is shutting down. We want to know how she was, how she got to survive, everything that she experienced and life until now. Girl. Hi. Welcome to the show, darling. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. More especially because right now, it's really, really busy days. It's towards the end of the term and reports, parents, and graduation and everything. Thank you so much, girl, for actually coming. Thank you.
You so much for having me.
How are you feeling?
Tired because I mean it's end of semester, but I feel like my cup is full. I'm tired, but my cup is full.
I love that.
So I think that's the most simplest way I can put it.
That is nice. I love that. So could you please introduce yourself and where you from? When you actually came to China? I mean, I know it was right before COVID. We want to know the year.
Oh, wow. So I am Khomotso Sobake. I think some people may know me by Auntie Darling. There was like a season where. So some people will know me by like Auntie or Auntie Darling. And I've been in China since October of 2019. So I was like very fresh when COVID happened. And the first city I came to was actually Ningbo, and I'm still in Ningbo. I did move around a bit, but when I arrived, I was in Ningbo. And what else? I feel like that in summary, that's just me. Came to Ningbo, started teaching. I started teaching at a training school, but now I'm in a kindergarten. So that's been a short insight of my journey in China.
I see. Okay, so you are from South Africa. Where in South Africa? And I would like you to actually take us, because this is like the beginning of everything. And I like to know, like, when you were in varsity, like towards the last year, and how exactly you thought or like decided, you know what, I want to go to China. I want to go teach. And what were you studying in varsity?
Girl. So I studied BCom accounting. So people who studied BCom accounting will call them the big four. That's when you choose your Deloittes, your KPMG, those big finance firms and finance and auditing. And I was studying that. And I think in my third year, I fell sick and I couldn't write one of my exams. I was like, at the end of this year, pass or fail, because it was very stressful. At the end of this year, pass or fail, I'm taking a gap year. And I decided within my gap year, I'm going to travel. So third year, by the God's grace, I passed and I was done. And I decided I'm taking a gap year. And in that gap year, I was like, okay, I'm going to travel around. So first stop was India. And then my second stop was supposed to be Singapore, right? And I wanted to go to Singapore because my dream was always to own a school or an orphanage. So that's my big dream. When I feel like I've reached my life's maximum like purpose and I'm living within it, it'll be always to be around children. So I thought, okay, my next stop is Singapore because they have amazing early childhood education, right, at the time. So first stop was India because they are great with innovations and stuff. So the year of my gap year, I did travel to India. While I was traveling to India, when I came back, I started tutoring online because I wanted to make extra money on the side. And one of the people I was tutoring, he was a guy from Japan. And he was like, have you ever thought of moving to Asia? And I was like, why? He's like, you'd love it. I think for 3 months, him and I were having this back and forth. He was like, please come to Asia. You'll love it. And I was like, I don't know if it's for me, right? My dream is visit Singapore because at some point I just wanted to be inspired. And I thought to myself, okay, the following year, 2020, I'm going to go back to school, finish off what I put on hold, right? I'm going to do my postgrad in finance. And so let me go to China for 3 months, right? Because everybody at the time was just, there was a lot of uncertainty with other countries because I didn't know anyone in Thailand or teaching in Vietnam or all those other countries, but I knew someone who was in China. So it was easier for me to ask questions to someone I knew. I don't want to just read an article and be like, oh, everybody's moving to China, right?
Yeah.
Oh, to like anywhere in Asia. So I picked China because I knew someone from from Rhodes University that was now in China, and I asked the questions. And I was like, okay, I can do China for 3 months. So that's why I came towards October. I can do China for 3 months, save enough money, travel a bit, and then come back and do my postgrad.
I think that time was like a time for China. Like it was very famous. China was very famous. Like 2018, 2019.
Yes.
Everybody was coming to China. Everybody.
It's either you know somebody who is coming back home from holiday or somebody who's considering going. But I think I was a bit skeptical because I mean, I could have gone earlier into my gap year, but I was so skeptical because there were also news coming out to say people are being lured in with the opportunities of jobs. But when you get abroad, then it's something else. Or you find that you're under the incorrect visa. And I was thinking the language barriers and also what you've seen online of how China looks like, right? Right. So I think I had that reservation, and until I felt like, okay, if I get to China and things don't work out for me, there's somebody that I know, right? I always wanted to have this, I know somebody, and not just my employers. I need somebody else. Because safety for me has never been. It's not we're not negotiating.
I get you.
So that's why I put a hold on it until like maybe July-ish. Actually, around about this time, many moons ago, that's when I started doing my interviews and then started doing the paperwork. And then I finally moved to China in October.
Interesting. Like when you mentioned that you had to know somebody, that was the same way with me because I mean, we had people like recruiters coming to university, like UKZN, they will come and like tell us about this opportunity, like teaching in China and everything. But it was a thing of, who's there? Like, I want to know somebody. And then one girl, Minnie, if you're watching.
Thank you, Minnie.
Minnie was the first one. She was like, I'm going. And then after her, everyone was like, yeah, let's go. Like, she's doing it. We can all do it.
Even
like,
in uni, if there were those talks by recruiters, I don't think I would have been in the room. My faculty, everything was so compressed into this big dream of being an accountant, a CASA.
Got you.
You know, so I don't think I would have ever been in that room.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Got you.
The only reason was gap year. If gap year did not happen, I believe up to this day, I would have been in auditing.
Yeah.
So gap year was where things took a turn for me. I think I cracked a bit under the stress of third year. Like I was so desperate to pass. I think it took a massive hit on my health. And that was before my June exam. So I think then I made the decision. I was like, I need a gap year. I need a sabbatical to be able to then recuperate, like get more energy and then try again to like in my postgrad with new energy. If gap year didn't happen, I don't think
you wouldn't.
I don't think China would have happened. I don't.
Hey, guys, you see how things happen, how things just work in life. Like you always find yourself in the right place at the right time. Like if it's bound
how
to
everything
happen,
has turned
if it's
out,
bound
definitely.
to happen. Yes. Okay, now this is very interesting because you study. I know a lot of people who are teaching abroad have different degrees. Like it's not everyone who has PGCE or who is like a professional teacher. Like I'm qualified teacher. Sorry. Not everyone is that, you know. For some people, it's like backup. I came for backup. I was just traveling. I thought I wanted something for some time and all of that. So knowing that, because when I knew you, the way you're so passionate about education, honestly, I'm shook. I really thought you were a qualified teacher.
I think, when did we meet?
I don't remember the year. No, it was right when I came to Ningbo. So it's like 3 years ago.
Okay, I think at that time I was already working towards qualifying as a teacher. But remember, my dream has always been to work with children. Because even when I was at Rose, I was a hostel mom. At like the age of 20, I was a hostel mother to like 13-year-olds.
Got you.
And before uni, I was always tutoring. So I have always been inspired to be. I was always involved in NPOs that work with children. I worked at NPOs with children whose parents suffer from substance abuse. So children has always been something once I'm done studying, when I'm like, okay, I need fresh air, I need to socialize. It's always been children. Yeah, and my dream, at some point I thought, okay, I'm gonna do the whole accounting CSA and then I'm gonna retire into lecturing. So I always thought, okay, at some point I'll retire into lecturing and then because lecturing, I found, okay, maybe if I do lecturing for a bit, then I can start working on my dream of an orphanage or a school. So I thought my retirement plan, and I always joke, I said, I think I've started off with my retirement plan. Because I was going to retire into education, into lecturing, into working with kids. So I guess this is retirement.
Well, it is. I guess so, girl. Okay, so now let's get to when you tell your family, like, I'm moving to China. That's how was like the conversation, their reaction?
My mom wasn't surprised. My mom always jokes. She says, you don't like hanging around with people so much. I think my mom thought I would move from Joburg and live in Cape Town. She's like, you're the kind of girl where when we visit you, we need to call you. We can't just like, surprise, right? And we said, I'm moving to China. She's like, okay. This is so like you, like, you know, moving around.
She's not
and also
surprised.
she wasn't shocked because this wasn't the first time I traveled out of the country.
Got you.
So I had been to other countries before. So it was, okay, I'm going to move for 3 months. I think the shock came in later when I said, I'm renewing my contract. So then like, she was like,
okay.
This is not what I signed up for.
No.
She said, girl, this is not what I signed up for. But she wasn't surprised. I think my dad, he was on the fence. I mean, he was very skeptical. I'm the eldest daughter. So it's a first time parenting, everything, like every decision that I'm making is like, I've never had to experience this. And I come from a family where everybody lives very close to each other. There's very few relatives that live very far. So I think I was leaving the kraal, you know?
Gotcha.
I was living in my father's house. So he was very skeptical and very worried. I think when I was traveling, land in Dubai, you have all those missed calls. You're like, I'm in the air, my guy. How am I gonna
like, seriously, Dad?
So, and then you get here, you're struggling to communicate with everybody back home on WhatsApp. So he was
stressful.
He was very stressed.
Yeah.
And also, only my parents actually knew the week when I was leaving. I didn't tell them prior to making the decision.
What on earth? Girl, what?
I don't know. Because I was certain in my decision, I didn't need someone to talk me out of it. Especially because you know what kind of family you come from. You come from a family that is so used to being together, right?
Got you.
I kind of felt like they would have tried talking me out of it.
Yeah.
What about school? You're leaving. Where you're going? Like they would have given me more questions where I would have started doubting it. So I made the decision, and then a week before leaving, I called my mom and said, "Oh, I've picked up my papers from the embassy, guys. I'm leaving." Actually, only my parents and my best friend knew that I was leaving.
Wow.
Nobody else knew. The rest of my family found out in December that I'd left the country.
And that was already like how many months? Goodness,
Yeah.
Lord. Girl.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I go to my family for advice on a lot of things. So I already know how they would react. Like saying to them 3 months, saying to my mom 3 months, she's like, okay, at the end of 3 months. So she's sitting on that assurance that after 3 months, my baby's gonna be back. My dad is very skeptical. So in that week before I left, it was already like, you know, you can always come back home, you know? And I'm like, guys, I know. So I didn't need, so like, you know, police clearances take forever. Or at that time, they used to take like, mine took 2 months or so, like it took long. So if I told them, that whole waiting period would have been insane.
Yeah.
So I think I told them the week before. I said, guys, I'm leaving.
I get it.
And they were like,
I get it, but
okay,
dang.
I guess the flight ticket has been bought.
Yeah. Like,
There was no farewell party. Nobody was like, wow, you're going to China. People were surprised on Instagram when I said,
here I am.
I'm in China.
Oh, okay. Girl, I get it. I totally get it. And I think it was a very brave decision. I mean, yeah. Wow.
If you want somebody to keep your secret, it's
yeah, I
me.
know. Yeah.
I can sit on your secret.
Okay, girl. So now you got here and then it's 2019, towards the end of 2019. And that is right before COVID hit. And it's a new country, girl, new continent. Do you know anyone here? What is happening?
I knew one person, Arlene, she was in Tianjin. That's a person who was like
really close, like in the city.
I knew her at Rhodes. Like she was my lifeline at Rhodes as well. To be like, hey, anyone's 3-4, or like, hey, let's hang out. So I knew her properly from Rhodes. Like someone who my mom could actually be like, oh, we know her.
Okay.
Right? So I arrived, but she was in Tianjin at the time. So I arrived here, but fortunately when this first training school I joined, he had a lot of South Africans. But also when I got here, I was the substitute teacher. So I didn't come in because—
So it was 3 months for real?
Yeah. So when I came in, everybody was getting ready to take, because you know with training schools, you take your leave just before the holiday. So everybody in December is taking the leave, and then in January, everybody will come back in Jan. So I came in to like substitute everybody who's taking leave. And then they were hoping that the numbers would roll in and I would have a class. That was actually brave, like coming in as the substitute and hoping that you guys have enough numbers at some point. Because from October until after Chinese New Year, I was doing a lot of like either substituting like once a week, and then the rest of the time I was chilling. So that's when I decided, okay, maybe I should start studying again. But the rest of the time, the rest of the 3 months, I was cruising.
Wow. By the way, guys, for anyone who doesn't know what training center is, it is, you teach in the afternoon, right? Like starts in the afternoon.
I think that the training center setup is set up in a way where it's different from a traditional school. You go there for an hour for a certain level. But as a teacher, you teach different kids. Unlike a normal school where you have your one class the entire day. With a training school, it's more you have this group of kids and then you see them twice a week or once a week.
And weekends also, right?
Yeah, they haven't done that in a long time. So.
It's okay. Okay, girl, now let's get right into COVID, because I want to know how you actually felt. For me, because I was in China already, because I came in 2018. So I was already comfortable in the country. I know people. I've made my community.
Must be nice.
I already know some words, how to buy stuff, how to answer my phone if someone is delivering and everything like that. So when COVID hit, it was a thing of I'm okay, it's not like I just came and I can imagine for you when you just got here and then.
It was tough. I think the first month was tough because the government issued I don't know if you call it a policy or something, like a guideline to all employers to say you're supposed to pay them only enough for their rent. So I think the district that I stayed in Ningbo, the rent was around 2,000. And then I think the rent was around 2,000, and then our employer was gracious and they gave us an additional 2,000. So I think in February of COVID, I think I got paid like 5,000 RMB.
What?
And I was new.
Oh my God.
So COVID, that guideline was like, oh, you have to pay them like this much for their rent, and I think in a certain percentage for living expense. So your employer didn't have to pay you the entire salary. Yeah. So that's what happened. I think that was February. And then mid-February, I think, my boss at the time had 2 young kids, and she's like, hey, can you come over and live with us? And I was like, okay. And everybody was like, because all the foreigners were very angry at like, how could you pay us this? How do you think you're going to survive? We're going to find other jobs. And people were jumping ship. People were like, we're going to resign.
Yeah.
And my supervisor at the time, she said to me, Khomoto, keep your mouth shut. You're new. The people that are threatening the boss, making all of these demands have been here. They have something to fall back on. Shut up. And I did that. Wow. But I kept quiet. And I was like, I don't know, because I don't even know who this boss is. I've never seen her. Yeah. So I can't be like, they give me our money. So I kept quiet, and she said, just wait for how everything plays out. And then at the time, my boss said, come live with us for a bit, and then you can tutor our kids, and then you get your full salary. So for the rest of COVID, I've got my full salary.
Oh, that's
so
great,
that worked.
Yeah.
So first February I was panicking, and then while we waited for COVID to die down, and schools only opened in May properly. Then I was basically living with my boss, and basically all my expenses were covered.
But now remember, at home, mom and dad said you can always come home. Remember. So now how did you end up with
1 million? No, I'm not going anyway. Flight to 1 million. I'm not going anywhere.
Was that the reason you decided? Was that the reason you decided not to go home because of the flights?
COVID, yes, and
I mean the flights, because
the flights were expensive. Also, I missed the point when I was here, because I was supposed to be for 3 months. I enrolled already for postgrad in 2020.
Girl.
So I'm thinking COVID is happening, and then I checked the UNISA platform. UNISA says you can write in Shanghai.
Yeah.
So great stuff. I start studying. I'm back. Finance girlies are up. I'm leaving teaching.
Girl.
And then they were like, no, we can't fly in the exam papers. So I had to drop out.
Oh my.
So I dropped out.
Man.
And
wow.
Yeah. And then I just decided the flights were too expensive to go home. And I thought I would go once everything has died out. But I think the guilt of having dropped out did a number on me. So I kind of felt like, okay, maybe let me wait it out until I decide what else I'm going to do. I checked other schools, and the schools that I could enroll with, I could only enroll in June. But it was still very expensive to go home. There was the quarantining things. It was like, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, I'm going to wait out another year and then maybe go home in 2021. But while I was waiting, then I realized I could actually pursue my MBA. So then
you went for that.
Yeah, I started studying my MBA. And while I was studying my MBA, there was no reason for me to go back and study to be a CASA.
Yeah. Okay. Well, worked out again.
It worked out. It really I mean, CASA sounds nice, but MBA at the back of my name also is nice.
Yeah. Okay, I see, girl. But the parents, they understood, like it was a thing of, okay, that's fine.
They understood that it was not possible for me to come back home because of the financial aspect of it.
Yeah.
But they were still worried about COVID, obviously.
Yeah.
And when I said to them, I'm studying, one thing, my mom is a teacher. So when you say to her, I'm studying, she's like,
let's go.
Say less. Stay where you are. If anything, continue studying.
Do it.
So I think the other thing that made them relax even more was when I said, okay, I'm pursuing my master's. Okay, cool.
That's nice. That's really beautiful. Okay, now you mentioned that you worked for other schools also. So when did this happen? Like you were in Ningbo, right? This is 2020 now.
Yeah.
And then when do you go to a different city?
So our company actually closed down after COVID, like all the training centers.
Oh, yes, that's what
they closed down. And then I started. Can you actually believe, now that you asked me that, I actually think I did 100 interviews.
100?
Like close enough.
Literally?
Yes. I did interviews for 2 weeks, and I think I was taking 10 a day.
Oh my God.
Until I decided which school I wanted to go to.
Well, at that time, we had options. At that time,
it would be like 7 p.m. and I'm like, let me rest. And then a recruiter texts you, can you do an interview now?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and now? Nah. So I'm outside. I'm thinking, they said nah. I said, okay, fine, I'll take it.
Oh my God.
So I think I did close to 100 interviews. Like there came a point where I was looking at the sheet with the into schools that I was interviewing with.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my word.
Oh my God.
And then I finally made my pick.
That is actually crazy, girl. I've never heard anything like this.
I did so many.
That is crazy.
I did.
Gosh. Wow.
Because I feel like I was scared to pick a wrong school.
Got you.
I was scared that if I pick a school and they shut down on me.
You had the trauma from.
Yeah,
I get you.
Because also when the training school closed, I didn't find out from my boss or my supervisor that it closed. It was the Dragon Boat Festival, and we were out.
That is shady.
No, because even the training schools had 2 days for Dragon Boat, right?
Yeah.
And we had that 2 days, and the following day they're like, no, you guys can also take today off. So we're out. All the training center girlies were like, hey, let's meet up for brunch. We got the day off. And we're out. And the agent that I was talking to earlier, because she started reaching out to me like, hey, would you consider changing schools? Because schools were desperate. They were reaching out to anybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I still have my job. She reaches out to me. She's like, hey, Khomotso, are you looking for a job? I said, me? Looking for a job? I'm not looking for a job. She said, ma'am, you should be looking for a job.
That is crazy.
And I said, what are you talking about? And she says, okay, this is your school has been bankrupt due to COVID. And
that is crazy.
She sends me, I don't know if it was an article or a screenshot of like an online conversation.
Oh my God.
And that's how I found out that there were police officers outside of our training school at the time trying to calm parents down because parents had just paid, it was after Chinese New Year, they'd paid for a new subscription for the new period and then were bankrupt. And she said, I think you need to find a job.
I understand the 100 interviews. I understand them now. You went through something.
I was trying to find that one. So yeah, that's how that happened.
Oh my God.
And so I didn't find out from them exactly. And yeah, but even then, once I found out, my supervisor then again said, Khomotso, until you've secured a job, don't say anything. Don't say you quit. Don't question anybody. And I got paid my salary up until the day I found a new job. And I said, okay, I'm going to start, let's say, in July.
Yeah.
Because I think June 16-ish was Dragon Boat.
Yeah.
And then I found a job. Once I was ready to move to my new job, I handed in my resignation letter. So my salary was then calculated up until the day I handed on my resignation.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, my
in
supervisor
China,
at the
that's
time, she said, that's how the law works. So don't rush unless
things,
this is how the law works.
Yeah.
So she was kind enough as a Chinese person. She was not benefiting anything from telling me all of this to say, wait, while everybody's loud and there's, understandably so, because I was also like, how dare you not tell me I need to be looking for a job?
Yeah.
Don't say anything until you're secured in your next move.
I don't know if I'll be able to do that, to be quiet when I see things
so
are going
I kept
down,
quiet.
girl.
Everybody jumped ship, resigned, not even resigned at the spot. Like you having a conversation with your employer, say, hand me my transfer paperwork.
Yeah.
That is you resigning, right? So if they were going to pay you anything, they're paying up until that date. And remember, we weren't working at all.
Yeah.
And we just went back for that 15 days before Dragon Boat. So they hand you the paperwork the same day they handed over the bankruptcy thing to the newspapers or whatever. So I kept quiet
abroad.
And I got my salary up until the date where I told them, can I have my transfer paperwork?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's helpful to have a Chinese friend.
True, very true. Yeah.
So
wow.
So that's how the 100 interviews happened. And I picked the next school. And then when I got
which city?
It was in Juji.
Oh, I don't know that city.
It's Shawshing, 20 minutes outside of Shawshing.
Oh, okay.
And how I picked the school, they were new as well, but they were in a very small city that didn't have a lot of international schools.
Yeah.
So that was a win for me. Asked them, do you have any international schools around? I think they only had one.
Yeah.
They had another big brand. But one, they had monopoly. So if parents are not happy with having another school, actually worked out for them. So that's why I picked them.
Yeah, the small cities were always like, I mean, even now, small cities are like one of the best choices.
Yeah.
Because, there's not much competition.
So that's how I ended up picking them.
Okay. And then after that, you came back to Ningbo.
No. When I said no, I just remembered. Actually, before coming back to Ningbo, I did Juji and then I went to Changsha. I think it's Changsha. I don't even remember how to say it.
Changsha,
And then when I got there, I had a
Hunan
job.
province.
No, close to Beijing. Changgao. I don't even know how to say it.
Oh,
but when I got there, I got there. I chose that school as well because they had I don't know if it's like a social program for kids that come from like poor families and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's something I love working
Of course,
on.
closer to your heart.
And then I got there and then they messed up my schedule and I decided
I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. It almost ended with a lawsuit because I was threatening to sue because I don't play like that, child. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. So
never.
I was only there for 2 weeks and I suffered horribly from the pollution. So the pollution up there was not good for my skin. I was like flared up, swollen all the time. So and the workplace was horrible. So that's how I ended up back in
Ningbo. With the school that you're with right now.
Yes.
The big school.
We'll just call it that, the big school.
Yeah, we'll call it the big school, yeah. So how did you actually get here? Like you got an interview from the bad pollution place and then you're like...
So I think for me, when I was job hunting, the requirement has always been, I want a new school. It has to be it has to be between 3 to 5 years old. Because at that point, the first 2 or 3 years, they're making mistakes as a company. But after 5 years, they have a lot of experience. So they're set in their ways, right? So I think within that 3 to 5 years, that's how I chose. So I asked them, how long have you guys been around? And they were like 3 years old. So I said, okay, how many foreign teachers do you have? So I wanted to understand the culture as well. So that's how I ended up picking them. I had a bigger brand that I would have worked for, but again, they would have been set in their ways. So now the big school didn't start off with being the big school. They had a different name. They were a startup as well. So I prefer working with startups. So that's how I chose them. I feel like there's more opportunities in startups and there's room for growth in startups rather than a set brand.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so if, let's say someone is, because one thing that has been happening, we've been changing jobs, like schools are shutting down. It's really bad, like the recruitment, finding a job, especially as chocolate people. Yeah. No, honestly, Africans, if you're African, it's really difficult right now. This is something that is not, we're not going to try sugarcoat it or whatever. It's really bad for us. So if you would advise someone who is looking for a job, basically, and you say, what are the things that you'd say, I chose to go for this and that because this is what has kept me in the same space for a long time?
I think we need to be honest. The playing field is never going to be even, right? As someone who, I think sometimes when I told people like, I was expecting an accent, people always, there's a certain bias in the market. So you're not going to come in with your random degree and everything's going to be okay. It's not. You have to prove yourself before you make it into that interview, if you are even going to get an interview. So that random degree, it managed to get a lot of people in pre-COVID, post-COVID. But right now, everybody has a PGCE. So if you're going to come in, I'm going to advocate that you need to study further. People say they don't like studying. That's why we're doing ESL. But the market has shifted. The market is, you're going to need a PGCE, or you're going to need a bachelor's of education, or you're going to need something else that sets you apart. Because saying I'm a passionate teacher is not sufficient. It's really not. And that is the truth. Because why also taking pictures, right, for branding purposes. If you're selling English, African does not sell English. That is the truth.
Yo, guys.
It doesn't. That is the truth. So you need something when you put your resume across the table for people to say, oh, she studied in this. I'm going to give an example. I think I'm obsessed with not being, like, I want to leave a place on my own terms, right? So I want to be able, and maybe this could also be imposter syndrome to some degree, but I want you to look at my resume. I started off in finance, remember? So if you look at my resume right now, it will tell you child psychology certificate, child development certificate, child understanding child development. There's so much more. If you have somebody who says, I can't, my finances are too tight for me to study, you have Coursera, you have so many other, Allison, you have so many platforms that you can study these courses for a short, and it's professionally accredited, right? So it has a number attached to it, like a real certificate. So there is no excuse for you to try and play on the same playing field as people who are palm colored.
I get you.
So you need to set yourself apart.
I think another thing that's like a problem right now is that, of course, a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, people are not here to, like, we're not planning to be teachers forever, you know. Some people, it's like backup, it's really backup.
Yep.
And it's like, if now I study further something that's going to get me this job of teaching in China, maybe I'm never going to be like focusing on my purpose. But then again, it is also a difficult thing to move or shift, like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. But the truth is also that the quality of ESL and how people, like, the market views ESL, right? The market doesn't value ESL because we've gotten some teachers who are absolutely great. I do not fault them to a T. But the videos that are trending about ESL teachers, we are just Baby Shark. We just sing Baby Shark and we're done. So you don't have the market. A lot of the people whose kids we're teaching now have traveled the world. They know what it's like to be in an English classroom versus what the ESL labor market is producing. So that's why now we're saying to people, just if it's not your purpose, then you're going to have a hard time because the market is requiring more. I think prior to now, it was just, you just have a couple of countries that need to learn English because they want to tap into the rest of the world. But right now, everybody's more traveled than how they were like pre-COVID or 10 years ago. So the market has changed. The people we're serving have changed. So you have to serve to the current market, not your notion of what the market used to be. It's not that anymore.
Got you. Well, it is a truth. It is the truth. So with what you're saying right now, I would like to ask, are you saying maybe it's time for exit for some people? Like,
oh no, it's not even do you think, you always need an exit strategy. You always, as a person of color, you need an exit strategy. To be quite honest with you, regardless of how learned I am, I worry I don't think somebody would look at my resume and think, wow, this person has studied, and then put my resume against someone and say, but would she sell? Do you understand what I mean? Because based on appearance and based on what sells in the market, because some people in the market or like the parents, like they would want someone to say, oh, you represent international, you represent what English looks like. All right. So even with that, I always think you need an exit strategy. Sometimes, yes, you're good at what you do, but does that sell?
Does it sell?
Because
I also know that there's people who have moved from China to like Taiwan to Dubai and you know, like different countries. I know that it's not as tight as it is in China. I feel like in China it's like you say, like, they sell.
I would exit, if you want to stay in teaching, exit to going to like Dubai and all of that. Great, if you want to stay. But if China is your be all end all, absolutely not. You need a plan B. You need a plan B. Even if it means applying to pre-apply or online platforms so that if this doesn't work, if your schools are shutting down.
They are.
So you can't. If you're willing to stay, you need to be willing to stay for a lower salary.
Yes.
That is the truth.
That's true.
One, the market is fixing itself because now supply exceeds demand. There's a less demand. The population is less. There's too many ESL teachers in China. People, they can actually even recruit from outside. So if they really want someone who's really qualified, they can hire from outside. If you're here already, you have to go through a lot to get the salary that you want. So we might be going back gradually to like
14s, 18s, what we came here for.
We're going back there.
My goodness.
If things continue the way they are with schools, and I think even around the area that we're in, there was a school that closed down a month ago, if I'm not mistaken. It was a big school. And they closed down. There's other schools that are closing down. I don't think we should be taking it lightly if you should have a backup plan. That is not even, the question should be, what should I be putting in place if I lose my job? Not should I have a backup plan. It's what measures should I be taking financially to set myself up.
Got you. Guys, by the way, she is a consultant. She is the head of what in the school. So we're getting advice from the right person right here. And speaking of that, I would really love you because I do get questions, people asking me about coming to China. And I came here like a long time ago.
Yep.
And I wouldn't want to give out wrong information, you know. So when we look at the paperwork, like preparing to apply for China, what exactly do you need?
We still need the same. In terms of paperwork, we still need the same, like your degree, your TOEFL, your police clearance, any other thing that proves that you've studied, right? But something that has changed is that China has now signed the Hague Convention. Basically, it's a treaty. To simplify it, it's like all countries that have signed this agree that, we all agree when it comes to how to protect children, how to, corrective measures, legalities, how to validate documents, which then means, remember, before we had to get your paperwork, get it authenticated either at the High Court and then go to DERCO, and then from DERCO go to the embassy, to the Chinese embassy.
Yeah.
So what they've done now, they've cancelled out, since November of 2023, they've cancelled out that last step. So which means it's cheaper for you. So you don't have to run to Pretoria and then run to Sandton to get the paperwork done, for example. So you need, if you're from a different country than South Africa, you need to check if your country is within the Hague Convention that China, as among other countries, have signed. That means that you only need to get it, you get the paperwork that supports that your documents is valid, and then you don't have to go to the embassy. But because this is a new thing that China has joined, some schools are still skeptical about, so they still prefer. If your HR is also new, they may not be aware of that change. But yeah, right now, so that helps for people who are trying to move. If you're somebody who financially are tight, it helps because that extra cost has been removed. So you don't have to go to the embassy to get that seal. You can just send it to a prospective employer in China after that.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Also, I would love to know if you would actually advise someone to apply or come to China, because I mean, like we said, there's other countries, but looking at how things are right now, would you say yes, or maybe look into other countries?
If you have nothing, yes. If you have an opportunity to build something else, no. If you have nothing, yes.
Got you.
So if you're unemployed, you need money.
Yeah.
You need an opportunity. You need something to work on, yes. If you are in banking and things are working well and you think you're going to take a break, come to China, then go back and then work on building your whatever, then I would say build that, right? And I also say, if you're leaving, for example, if you're a teacher and you leave South Africa and you have government benefits, you have a retirement package, you have a medical scheme, you have all of that. And if you leave that and you uproot from that and you come to China, think about the cost benefit. So I think for me, it's if you have something to build on and some careers are very linear, right? Where you know that, for example, to be an accountant, you need to do your articles. After that, you need to stay this amount of years in management. And then after that, then you become senior, right? That's very linear. Once you break that, you need to start from the bottom a little bit, right? So if you have that, I wouldn't say sacrifice that. Absolutely
Got you. I like that because, of course, we do have people who tell the truth or what happens, like, or what is really happening in China. But like a lot of time, it's always like pretty things. You know, China's good, we're great, we are safe, we get the money.
I'm not going to fault it. China has given me a lot.
Absolutely,
it has.
Absolutely, yeah.
But if I was to build something, right?
Yeah.
I think if I had stayed in my mainstream, I would have been further,
Got
right?
you.
So it has, with what I've done in China, I'm very grateful. But now and how the market looks like right now, that's something. If you have nothing, or China would offer you a little bit more than what you have, then definitely.
Thank you so much, girl. Do you have any plans? Maybe something you want to tell us about the future? Are you studying something right now?
No, I'm not. Is that a nice way of asking if I'm doing a PhD? No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm taking a break. I'm done.
Okay. Thank you so much, girl, for this. Thank you so much for coming, guys.
Thank you for having
me. We had a lot that was covered. I like the fact that we get to really speak about the difficulties that are happening in China, you know, and people get to see the other side, like not just the pretty things, or but really understand what is going on. Because sometimes, you know, when someone text, because people text from home, from like they see you, you're in China and they're like, hey, I want to come to China. Can you please send me? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But there's other countries too. People think that you're jealous or you are gatekeeping or anything like that. But we
Also,
see
if you
what
are
is
somebody
happening.
who wants to do more than teaching, for example, you want to explore certain business aspects, China, like in terms of visas, then becomes another thing you need to ask yourself. I know somebody that moved, I don't know if it's the Philippines or somewhere, but she's able to do like her business outright and have a beauty, whatever, and register it and be able to teach. So if you want the best of both worlds, then look into another country that allows you to max out, right, your potential. If you want to come to China for other things and business and whatever, do that, right? But if you want a place where you can do both, China's a bit restrictive. Legally, it's restrictive.
Yeah. That one, they put it on the table.
So that's something to consider as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, darling. Guys, I hope you did enjoy this episode. And I'm going to, if anybody wants to reach out, maybe ask about, I don't know, maybe some advice, because you do have good advice, honestly, when it comes to looking at the field. So if she is comfortable with that, maybe we can share your contact if you are comfortable with that.
I think I only use so it's either info@Archway, Archway Group.site, or you can reach me on my Instagram, which is Auntie Darling.
Auntie Darling it is. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Until next time, all things relationships abroad.